So to our brothers and sisters who are watching right now and they say, listen, leave me alone. I want to live a safe and comfortable Christian life. Let me work on myself. I don't want to talk. I hate public speaking. I hate preaching. I don't want to tell anyone anything. I don't know the verses very well. I don't know my Bible very well. We still tell them it's essential, but is this kind of form of service mandatory? Do you tell that to your father? Do you tell them it's mandatory?
I do emphasize to the youth that we are called to this. We are definitely called to this, and at a bare minimum, to your friends. So even if it's not actively, it's passively. Meaning, you're fasting. We fast a lot, right? Someone asks you, "What are you eating? Why are you eating this stuff?" I've noticed like you've been eating weird food for the last 2 weeks. What's up? You don't answer, well, I'm on a diet. You answer, I'm fasting. You're fasting? Really? Are you Muslim? No, I'm not Muslim. I'm Christian. We fast. I'm Coptic Orthodox. It's Advent. It's Lent. Whatever it is. Explain yourself, right? Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. What did you do this weekend? I was in church. You know how many conversations start just with that? You go to church. You know how many youth bring their friends to church just because of these conversations? And people in church have to get used to that. So the youth, the next generations, they're courageous and they're capable and they're not ashamed.
But I feel like the youth are almost more courageous than our age groups and older. Like when you go to someone who's in their 40s and work and life and children, they don't want to. They tell you, Father, in confession, Father, I'm not going out preaching or talking about scripture. What's your answer? Like, be comfortable and.
I think you'd be surprised. I know many people our age that and even many are pharmacists. Actually, funny enough. I don't know why, but it is the case.
Medicine and Christ at the same time. Give up.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. And even within the pharmacy, engineers, I was blessed to work in a very good company before the priesthood, and we were like a handful of Coptic Orthodox youth that were very devoted to Christ, and they knew who the Copts were. They knew when we were fasting. They knew that we do this and we don't do that. They knew. Nobody told them. We didn't go and put have signs or anything like that. But they knew these guys are honest. They're genuine. Oh yeah, they're not perfect. They don't claim to be perfect. They go to church, right? And they see the bond and the love that we have, and that is more than enough. Right, so that there is if you live as a proper Christian, there is a bare minimum that you will inherently give to others, right? Right.
I agree. Actually, there's a deep fear that if I'm being asked to preach, I have to be like Father Gabriel, and you have a responsibility to teach the word, but every Christian has a responsibility to share God. C.S. Lewis actually. Really opened my eyes to that in a beautiful way in Mere Christianity, when he talks about the ultimate fulfillment of joy when you praise or witness or share God. And can I share very quickly?
Please.
So I understood it that way. When I'm with you guys and I talk about how amazing Anne is and what a wonderful wife she is. And
Anne is his wife, by the way.
What a wonderful woman she is.
Emad loves you.
You're
Please
welcome,
give him
Anne.
good.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. He said it on social media and the internet.
So when I do that, I know.
I love my wife too. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, me too.
Since we're all getting points right now, I love my wife. Everybody, Father, you love
me. And that's exactly it. When I share that in a podcast, I know it's coming back to my wife. I know I'm earning
better. We're gonna
brownie
make
points.
sure we get that. Yeah.
I know that when she sees it, she's gonna get this fuzzy warm. She's like rolling her eyes right now.
You're not getting anything fuzzy warm yet.
But I know it's getting to her. When I'm traveling to Vancouver and I'm talking to my colleagues and I'm sharing how amazing Anne is as a mother and how she is somebody you can really count on her, I still may get some brownie points because maybe a couple of years later she meets with those colleagues and they say, you know what, he's madly in love with you. But when I go to Asia and I'm on a trip and I talk to a Chinese couple about how amazing my wife is, I know it's not getting to her. Why am I doing it?
True love.
It's the fulfillment of my joy. It is the ecstasy part of the relationship. That is when, in my praising her, I'm being fulfilled. Same thing with witnessing to God. People think it's just to help others. It helps me. It strengthens me. It brings my relationship with him to a real state. And then I receive grace, and then I have more courage for the next time. It's a full circle. I don't think I can be a Christian, a full Christian, and hold back on sharing God.
Stepping aside from all the positive examples now of preaching and accepting the faith, when you're at work, Emad, and you see someone vehemently against God, or Father, when you see someone aggressively against the notion of God's existence or any of that, what's the management to that? How do you approach that?
So I feel strongly that God has never forced himself on our will, and neither should we, right? So if somebody is vehemently opposed and aggressively rejecting, it's just not the right space. But that doesn't mean we don't do anything. We can still preach with love. We can still preach with tolerance. We can still preach with acceptance. The problem is we have a deep fear of rejection. That's why we don't preach, right? But Christ has made it clear that perfect love casts out fear. And so if I just love intensely without expectations, okay, like if this guy does not start accepting my faith or accepting God, or at least then I'm going to stop this relationship. That's not the purpose here. The purpose is for me to exercise godliness, right?
But sorry to cut you off, but when someone comes to you, I mean, again, you're in the corporate world. It can be taboo, and someone says, well, you guys don't believe in these things, that are socially acceptable, or, rights of certain things. You know what I mean? Are you always voicing your opinion, or are you just...
Okay.
Because you said the word tolerance and it almost sparked something. You know what I mean?
So glad you brought this up, because the truth is, when people ask me, like, how is it that you have the guts to give these answers? Because I'm not giving them my opinion. I'm sharing with people only when they're asking me.
Okay.
I'm not attacking. But when people are asking me, I am mentioning, do you want to know the truth in my heart, or do you want me to be politically correct?
Okay.
Once they tell me, I want to know the truth in your heart, I am sharing the truth that God has put in my heart. You don't have to love it or accept it. This is the truth that God has put in my heart. This is how we live in power. This is how we live against all odds. This is how we deal with the craziness of the world and still remain at peace. I could have the most troublesome situation, but Christ allows me to go through it. It doesn't mean we're not going to be tried. It doesn't mean we're not going to be challenged. So I'm just going to tell you very quickly a couple of examples. Someone who is in construction, a Christian, witnesses to this lovely Asian couple. He is witnessing by his honesty, by going the extra mile. I know it sounds crazy, construction, honesty, but yes, it was that honesty that prompted that Chinese couple to say, are you Christian? Who are you? And so he shares with them, and they say, which church you go to? And he says, St. Catherine downtown. Next thing you know is they show up in the church. The first person that meets them loves them sincerely, to the point that they still talk about that meeting, and that's how they felt God's love. A couple of weeks later, they feel God's sincerity of pursuing him by Abuna Raphael's welcoming them and telling them how much they're loved. And now they're full-on congregation members, and they share in the Bible study. And so it's not complicated when somebody wants to just share the joy that's in their heart. You're talking, though, about people that are against the idea. And so I don't feel I need to force it down their throat. I just need to remain loving